what they say? The third time is the charm. I'm stoked to go live a little bit later than we thought, but that's all good. Hopefully you're catching us live, and if not, you're enjoying it afterwards. Bringing in Dr. Sam live on the scene, and we're going to go into all things Dr. Sam and how to be a victorious vegan. Super stoked. Dr. Sam just joined, so as soon as he requests to jump in here, we're going to go live with him. If you guys have any questions for us at all, absolutely feel free to just comment there. Really quick. So we're getting Dr. Sam in on here. I want to mention really quick that both Dr. Sam and I are part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. Melissa from Raw Food Romance and I actually came together and lit a fire under a whole bunch of people, including Dr. Sam, to bring you guys so much value, over 65 ebooks for $49. That's like 75 cents a book. And Dr. Sam's book's in there. What's up, brother?
All right, you hear me now?
I can hear you, and hopefully it's nice and smooth. Apologies for any technical difficulties. Anyone who's already in here, thank you for the love shared. Sup, Tosco? You're in the house. I'm just going to put my pin the link for that bundle, so afterwards, if you like, you can check it out. And if you want to support Dr. Sam, go to his page afterwards, give him a follow, and also check out the bundle through his link on his page. Oh, see, I made some hot sauce cabbage sauce with ranch pine nut dressing. Sounds ridiculously delicious. And if you want unlimited recipes, then check out that damn bundle, right? No, the dang bundle in the house. But Dr. Sam, where are you at, man? What's going on?
Hanging here in Roswell, Georgia, and actually was just sending out a message to my email list. Actually, you were featured in there, buddy.
Oh, sweet.
And,
bless you.
Yeah, man, the whole bundle was discussed, as well as the launch of the ebook that is part of the bundle, The Victorious Vegan. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Wi-Fi wasn't back on. Many apologies to everyone on the call. Thanks for joining in. I do apologize for that. Yeah, I did do a reboot on the system yesterday because I was trying to upload a major file that was like 6 gigs up to something, and it failed. You know how it gets all the way to the end and it says it's like 100%, but then it won't process the file, and then it starts all the way over.
Yeah.
You ever have that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's the most frustrating when you're in a time crunch too. But stoked we're working now. Yeah. Hopefully it's all clear for everyone. If anyone has any troubles, let us know. If you have any fun questions. What's up, John? See you there. What's up from Sweden? You know what? I'm out in Sweden. You're in Georgia. And Dr. Sam and I have known each other for a heck of a long time, over a decade. Met out in Costa Rica at our mutual friends, Brian and Jody Calvi's Farm of Life, Costa Rica, where we do retreats out there. And I've chefed your retreats over the years, and you've been a victorious vegan for what, over 2 decades now? Is it around that time?
Yeah. Been over a couple decades. Yeah, I've been vegan over 2 decades for sure, and raw most of that time. And it was crazy. Yeah, so we had left off before the tech difficulties with you asked me how I got into it. So I've been a clinician now for over 24 years, and like I said, my life started out a little rough. Came out of the womb crooked, and it was interesting because I asked my mother. I said, "Well, how did I crawl around if I was wearing a brace?" And she said, "Well, you just kind of army crawled everywhere. So you just kind of dragged your torso behind you." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." And I said, "Well, how did I get out of the crib?" And she goes, "You didn't."
Stayed in there.
And I'm like, "You just left me in there like a jail, right?" And she said, No. We always knew you were up. She said, because you were such a determined little kid. She said, you'd pick your legs up. And she goes, you just slam them down. And she said, you'd move the crib anywhere you wanted to go around the room. So she goes, we always knew that you were awake. She's like, oh, Sammy's up. Yeah. Because the crib is just getting like tossed around the room. And that was crazy. So when she told me that, that's actually when I kind of came up with that term. I was like, oh, it's a little health raiser. Yeah. And then I was like, wow, that's actually kind of sticks. So I adopted that then, and then it's just been an interesting journey, for sure. Yeah, I remember when we met at Farm of Life, man. Gosh, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a decade, right? That would have been the first time. It would have been in 2011 before the first Woodstock Fruit Festival. And so it's been just over a decade. And I mean, we've enjoyed a lot of time at the Woodstock Fruit Festival basically every year since then, and usually every year in Costa Rica. So usually we're meeting up twice a year. And as Leo brethren, we get along pretty freaking well, right? So it's been pretty amazing. It's been kind of a little bit tough, the last couple of years, not really being able to meet up due to all the things going on. But at least we have this. This has been one of our first lives, actually, our first live ever like this. We've obviously talked on FaceTime and stuff like that, but our first live here. So that's super cool.
For sure, man. Yeah, I miss you, brother. I miss you. You're my Leo brother from another mother.
Exactly, man.
And I always like to get my my vitamin CK in. My daily dose of vitamin CK. So yeah, man, you continue to inspire me for sure. I love your vibe. You know that. I mean, both of us have always come from that place of love, and Leos are lovers, not fighters, right? So we don't like the conflict, and even if people try to drag us into it, it's just like we just don't honor it. It's like, it's just not how I want to spend my days or my time and energy. Arguing or debating people online or about what works or what doesn't or who did what. It's like, it doesn't. It's draining,
right? Yeah. So there's so much positivity to focus on, like curly hair and all that fun stuff, right? So why not just go there? No,
absolutely.
Is that a part of being a victorious vegan?
Yeah, it actually is. I mean, the whole victorious vegan path is about obviously more than just being plant-based.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be vegan, and then it's another thing to truly thrive at your highest living potential, so you truly can share your unique talent and gift with the world.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, to me, that's what being a health raiser is all about. The definition of a health raiser is somebody who wants to spread the consciousness of love and light on this planet by raising their own level of health and helping other people do the same. And so that's why, one day I really got to thinking about that, and it came down. I got that divine download. It came to me, and that's where the lyrics of my song came. And
so sick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find, while you're talking, I'm gonna find that, just so you know I'm not ditching out. I'm just gonna be finding that as you're talking about that, because I want you to tell us a little bit about Health Raiser and where that came from.
Yeah, it was a crazy day. I remember I was driving somewhere in the car, and all these lyrics started to get downloaded in my head, literally. And I mean, that's what happens, is, with the raw food and raw living foods are the highest vibrational foods, and it's amazing. They're just like step down transformers of crystallized light. And when you consume these foods, people got to understand. I mean, food is more than nutrition, and both of us, come from that holistic nutrition place. And food is more than just nutrients. It is actual information. I mean, you are actually downloading information when you consume natural foods. So, as you know, when you eat this way, you just open up, and we've seen that happen for so many people on our retreats. We've seen that happen for so many people at the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. People just walk into their highest potential. So the lyrics started to come. And I'm like, wait, because it's also like hands-free in Georgia. And so I was trying to speak into my phone as the lyrics are coming, but I'm like, I got to pull over, because if God forbid I drive by a police officer, they're going to write me the ticket, because they're pretty strict, which they should be, because we had a huge problem here for the longest time with accidents because people weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So it's gotten a lot better. So anyway, I pulled over in a parking lot, and the lyrics are just coming, and I'm just cranking. And I get them all down, and then I just started to work them because they as you write and create as well, and you got to refine things. And it took a while for the whole project to totally come to fruition. But I remember the first guy I met that I thought was going to do the song with me as a producer and maybe even being part of the song. He was got his own genre of rap here in Atlanta, and he's kind of a local celebrity. He's like, yeah, what do you want to do with it, man? So we got talking. I went home from that meeting. I was all excited, and I sat in meditation, and Spirit's like, yeah, he's not the one.
It's not going to happen.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean he's not?
But everything's lining up. He's right here. He's awesome. He's got his own thing going on.
Yeah, and Spirit's like,
catch a cat.
No, he's not it. And I was like, wow, what the hell? So I sat on the project for close to a year.
Yeah.
And then I just was getting the itch again, and I was in meditation again, and the Spirit, I just said, look, I have to know, I have to do something with this, because I'm breaking inside, like just on a heart level. Either I'm going to bury this and just be like, forget it, or I got to do something with this. So Spirit's like, you'll have an answer this week, just be patient. So it was at the end of the year, and I was going to a holiday party. A buddy of mine invited me over there, and I walk in, and he's like, "Hey, help me bring this firewood in here." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So I do that, and I'm walking across the room, and the first guy I see is this tall, lanky dude, and again I hear the voice. It's like, "Hey, man, talk to this guy." So I turn and I'm like, "Hey, brother, what's your name?" He's like, "My name's Wahid. What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Dr. Sam." And he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I said, "What do you do, Wahid?" He goes, "Oh, I'm a music producer." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, music producer. Why?" I said, "Well, I have this idea for a song." And he's like, yeah, man. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure you hear that all the time." He's like, "Every day." I said, "No, but I'm serious." Yeah. I'm like, "I'm serious." And he's like, "Yeah, I hear that too." I said, No, I'm really serious. So he says, "All right, well, I'll tell you what." He said, "Tell me what the song's about." So I tell him a little bit, and he's like, "Wow." He goes, "I love the idea." He goes, "I'm into conscious music, actually. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And I want to, why don't we set up a meeting?" And I said, "All right, when are you available?" And he said, "Well, next week, and come to the studio." And I was like, "Well, where are you located?" And he's like, "In Roswell, Georgia." I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? That's right where I live."
Yeah.
So, I mean, now I don't even have to go to downtown Atlanta, which is a hub for, as you know, a lot of hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
You know, Atlanta's big for that, and that's where the other guy was. And he's like, "Yeah, no." And now I'm thinking, well, this is total divine intervention. And now I can get to know if he's legit, because I actually get to see his music studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go in there, I call him, I said, "Yeah, I'll call you at the beginning of next week." So I do, and I go in there, and I'm like, "Wow, this is a nice studio. So this is legit." So I take it in there, and I read him the lyrics again, and he's just like, "Wow, you wrote this?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." I said, I channeled it, but yeah, I wrote it, all the lyrics. He's like, "This is really good." And I'm like, you think you can do this?" He goes, "Oh, I can do it."
We're gonna have to share this music. Just so you guys know, we're gonna definitely play the music. If you stay tuned for a while longer, we're gonna be playing the song. Definitely, at the very least, to wrap it up. Maybe just in the next little while, but it's super hype.
Sure. Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, I can do it." And he said it really confidently. And I just said, "All right, well, you know, where do we start?" And he just said, "Well, you know, we go from like, I'll get the song started." And he goes, "We'll start with just kind of a chorus and, you know, and a melody, you know, just like how you know."
Did he come up with the beat and everything himself? Like the full music, on like the whole music? Did he completely come up with it himself?
Yeah, he came up with the beat and everything.
Sick.
And so when he sent it to me, when he first sent it to me, it just had the kind of the you know, the in the background. I was like, okay. And then he laid the chorus on it. You know, you hear that guy Daniel saying, "Come on, let's have some fun."
Yeah,
you know, and I was like, wow. I said, I kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. Then he comes back and he sends it back with the lyrics, you know, being laid down. And that's Lace Time that you hear on the track.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell is this guy, man? He's like incredible.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is shaping up to be really, really great. And he's like, yeah, what do you think? I said, who is that guy? He goes, "Oh, he's a friend of mine." I'm like, "He doesn't have his own label yet?" He goes, "No, he's working on it." He's like, "But yeah, no, he's just he just does his own thing." I'm like, I said, he's amazing.
He's super good.
Yeah, and I mean, when you listen to it, it's so clean. And here's the crazy part about that: when he sent it back with a rap, that was one take.
No way.
Like Lace Time did that in one take.
Yeah.
That's it. It
Just
never
another
had
day
to
at the office, right? Just like, "Oh, I'll do this. Yeah, what's up?"
It was funny because I go back in there, and he's like, "All right, well, you want to be on this track?" I said, "Hell yeah, I want to be on the track." And this guy Daniel that did the chorus, like, "You got to be on the track. It's your song."
Yeah.
So I said, "All right, look, I'm pretty creative." I said, "I could probably figure this out." And then I said, "Yeah, why don't I do the outro, the intro, the outro, and then I can also lay the hooks down before Lace Time drops the rap."
Yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, actually, that could work."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well,
MC Sammy.
Yeah." He's like, "He didn't use all the lyrics." I said, "He didn't use all the lyrics I wrote." I said, "So I'm just going to take those and work them, and I'll use those." And he goes, "All right, well, you know, let me know when you're ready." So I give him a call. I said, "All right, I'm ready to come to the studio." And then I go in there, and he's like, "Okay, what do you got for me?" And I tell him. And then he's like, "All right, you know, get in front of the microphone. Let's go." And I'm like, "Huh?"
Get in the booth.
Like, at that time, it's go time.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, you know, Lace Time does this in one take, and I'm over there like kind of shaking, like, okay, here we go. And I'm trying to just do the intro, right? And I'm like, here we go, kicking it out, and stuff. And he's like, all right, that was pretty good. He goes, do it again.
Dude, your song hypes
it
me
only
up
took-
so much, man. It hypes me up so much. I'm also going to pin it in the comments, not in these comments, but when this is put onto IGTV, I'm going to put the link there as well because people got to listen to this song. It's freaking awesome, and watch the video. I'll put the YouTube video in there. So you're in the booth, cool, yeah. And what's up with that? How did that go?
Yeah, it just was, it didn't take forever, but it took longer than Lace's part.
Yeah.
It just, here it is, I'm just only doing like 1 or 2 lines, and he's like, all right,
professional amateur, right?
Yeah. And he's like, look, you're close. He's like, you gotta move your voice a little bit. He goes, because if it's said a certain way, it has a certain vibe. And I'm like, look, I mean, this guy's a producer, so I trust him. And I could hear what he said. I listened back to it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I said, no, I hear what you're saying. So, we got it. I mean, we got it. And then when I left, I was really excited. And then when he sent me back the final track, I'm like, holy crap. I remember keeping you posted.
Oh, man. Yeah.
About it. I was like, yeah, man, it's coming.
I've listened to it hundreds of times. I listen to it when I'm working out a lot. I listen to it when I'm running, stuff like that. Camilla and I, we do a dance to it almost every single time. It's such an awesome song. It's super, super fun. And I mean, we both know too, just the power of music to connect, to open up people's hearts, open up people's minds, and the power of repetition and mantra, right? Like you get something, you hear something with the rhythm, with the rhyme, and it just doesn't click one time. It keeps on going again and again and again, right? And that's how we can get the message out there. We can get things to stick, and we can get people to be health raisers and raise up their vibrations today, right?
You got it, man. And that was the thing. It's like, how could I really reach people with a message of health? Yeah. Right, and do it in a way that was fun and empowering, and it's not so much like lecture and jam down your throat, but something that people would want to do. Yeah. Because Lace is like, Wahid said, well, what is your goals with this? I said, well, I want the song to be kind of upbeat and just get people want to get up and move. And 2, I want it to motivate people to be healthy. And 3, I want it to be timeless. Yeah. He said, all right, well, 2 of the 3, no problem. The 3rd one, man, he goes, only time will tell that. Yeah, I don't know.
You can never predict that. But you can never predict that. But I think you've accomplished, man. It's freaking ridiculously good. Probably the best health raising song ever been put out, I think, or among those upper levels for sure, like professional quality. I think everyone here is going to be super hyped. I have it all already on here, but we won't jump into that quite right now. But I do want to ask you a little bit more too about Victorious Vegan and where that came from, because I mean, I know there is a lot of people who are vegan, for many reasons, and there's many really valid reasons. But like you said, in your mind, being a Victorious Vegan isn't just being vegan for the animals, it's also vegan for yourself, for your health, to be a great example for others, right? So where would you kind of go with that into what a Victorious Vegan is and how you came up with that?
Sure, yeah, it's one of those things and you and I have had many talks about this, just looking at even how many people have come and gone from the vegan, quote, circles or network, and really to be truly victorious means you're going to not only have better health but more vitality and deeper love in your life, and they all stack on one top of another when you think about it. Like having better health is definitely going to just allow everything else in your life to happen better. And I like to say, as I teach a system called the chain of health, well, I like to say the chain drives the wheel. Again, the chain drives the wheel. And what that means is health is only a spoke in the whole wheel of life. Yeah. And life is beyond health. Life is friends, family, finances, fun and adventure, your factors of health, your faith and spirituality, your focus and career, and your future self, which is like your growth. So if those are the 8 spokes in the whole wheel of life, I say the chain drives the wheel. So to me, health is the golden spoke in that wheel. Yeah. Because when I have found, after consulting so many patients and clients for so many years, when their health is where it needs to be, everything else just falls into place. And so now that wheel rides smoothly, right? And the chain's driving that wheel. It's a smooth ride in life. Yeah. But when that spoke is not where it needs to be in terms of your overall health, then the chain doesn't drive the wheel too well, and it's a bumpy ride in life. And that's usually when we don't feel balanced and we're out of sorts. So it's so vitally important that once your health is there, then you have more vitality. Absolutely. And once you have more vitality, it's just that's when your heart just blows wide open, and that's when you just experience deeper love in your life on so many levels: love of self, love of others, love of what you do, love of the planet at large, and just wanting to help humanity.
Yeah.
And it's just like this, it just flows through you. And so truly to be victorious, it's about that. It's about having better health, more vitality, and deeper love. And the book will show you how to do that. And it's great because it's a very easy read. I mean, the book isn't, the new ebook isn't too long. It's just very nuts and bolts. And it'll just lay it down for people. It tells people like the three main things that they have to do to become a victorious vegan are laid out in the book. And they're very easy steps. And then also, when you get to the end, there's an opportunity for more. Like if people are like, hey, I really like what the book had to say, there's actually a link in there where people can go and actually get more free training, a whole masterclass, which is probably about 35 minutes long.
So Dr. Sam, can you give us a tidbit, maybe one of those three secrets in the book, something, a nice kind of tidbit here that people can start putting into practice right now, or something, if it's not one of those big three, one of the other ones in there, because I know there's at least 7 points in the book.
In the book, in the Victorious Vegan book, there's three main steps, so to speak. Yeah. So I give you, we'll talk about the first one because this is huge, and it seems like common sense, but common sense isn't always put into common practice.
Absolutely,
as we know.
Absolutely,
and that is, There's, as you know, I'm very, very known for saying there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing, and wisdom is doing.
Yeah.
And so the goal I always have with people is you don't want to just learn to be smarter. You have to learn to be wiser. Yeah. Like you could be a walking encyclopedia or a walking, whatever you want to call it, database in today's world of health. But that's not going to do you a lot of good unless you apply those things. So knowledge is
met a lot of people like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you talk to them, they can give you enzymatic pathways. They can tell you all this, yet they have like an insane amount of health challenges. And it makes you wonder, why. It's like, wow, if you know all this, how could you not be at a higher level of health? But so prioritizing your health is key. And one of the things about that, one of the pro tips in the book is this is a great takeaway. Health has to be a priority. It can't be a hobby.
Yeah.
Okay. Health cannot be a hobby. People dabble in hobbies. A little this, little that. Well, that isn't what it takes. It has to be a full-on commitment.
Like a central
and one of the things is, absolutely. You literally have to marry yourself.
Yeah.
You have to marry yourself. You have to marry your health.
Yeah.
And this is something that's so important. It's a commitment. One of the things that people, I think they need to understand, health is your birthright.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
natural.
It is your birthright.
Yeah.
But it is not free. Like you do have to earn it.
Yeah.
It's not a given.
Yeah.
Okay. And that commitment is an everyday thing. And I know you know this better than ever. I mean, gosh, man, your journey is nuts. Like with the motorcycle accident you got in. I mean, you think about how many days that you and Camilla both, and to this day, you're still doing it, but you had to just renew your commitment because you guys could have quit at any time after your
had to relearn to walk. Had to relearn to do everything over a year. Is freaking crazy, and fracturing my back, all that fun stuff in the past. But I know about commitment.
Yeah, it's the most humbling thing. I mean, right? It's just like, but that's what it takes. And that's truly when it's a priority because it's simple. And I always tell people, look, you could say this about anyone and there's no judgment here in a way of like a negative judgment. It's you walk into someone's house, you can tell what's a priority in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that's good or bad. It just is. Like we all have them. You walk in my house, you can see what's a priority. So you go into anyone's house and you know what a priority is. Just like you could tell by a lot of other things, the way they dress or their car or whatever. And it just is what it is. I don't judge people's priorities, but when someone comes to me and says, how come I'm not getting better by now, rehab, or how come, this doesn't work for me? And it's pretty simple. It's like, their actions are not lined up with the words. I mean, your health is earned by the actions you take and the choices you make every day. Yeah. And that's the thing I think people, health is earned either way, good or bad.
Yeah.
Right. And people have mastered the other side. Like it's, and it's easy to self-destruct. And
so many people, if they're coming from a place of like they have to or they should, oftentimes it's not fun. It's hard, right? But when you phrase it in that other way, that it's something you get to do, it's something that you get to play with, something you get to grow with, something you can earn, through actual consistent behaviors and modifications and shifting your perspective into a way that it makes it fun. It just makes it way more easy, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing about health too. It's interesting, right? Because it's like we can delegate other things.
Yeah.
Right. You could delegate if you're in business, you could delegate your marketing, or you could delegate your social media. You could say, okay, I hire someone to do that, whatever. You can't do that with your health.
No.
And that's,
except Dr. Sam, except maybe you can hire a chef to like make your food for you, or, you know, or do some of your stressful stuff so your stress lowers down. That helps with your health.
No, absolutely. But still, they can't eat it for you.
No,
right?
they can't. Unless they're baby burning it in your mouth, right? Unless they're like, you know, like.
Yeah, even that, you still have to digest it. You know, they could have even helped you. But yeah, I mean, of course, everyone would want to hire you as their chef. Man, I've told you that before. It's like, you know, I'd have to pay enough. I realized though what it would take to hire you. It's not just about the money. It's about like I already mapped this out.
Yeah.
I have a skate park nearby. Yeah. Like you would have limited hours too. It's like, dude, all I need you for is this. I don't expect you to be.
And like, you know, and the funny thing is,
all day.
You know, just funny thing is too, kind of talking about exactly what we're talking about, like knowing yourself and knowing what lights you up and what makes you, you know, thrive in the highest capacity. I like to be a chef in the sense that I like to do occasional things here and there, and I like to write recipe books and share that because I want to help people know how to do it themselves rather than do it for them. So for me, it's not about the money. I probably wouldn't really want to be someone's personal chef full time, you know, just because it wouldn't let me enjoy myself and thrive at the highest levels I possibly can. I'd rather teach someone to be able to do it themselves. And I'm in the same boat as you. I would love to have myself as my own chef and pay me so that I don't have to be making the food for myself anyway, you know, so. Gee,
yeah,
sorry to hear that. That's but you got to take care of yourself. Someone here is just chatting, you know, that they make their own food, but their partner sneaks off for fast food. And, you know, I think part of our journey and part of being a victorious vegan is having the highest standards for yourself and, you know, like helping others and sharing when applicable, but also letting go of other people's journeys and, you know, just being a good, positive influence, right? Being a good example.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way you're going to inspire people is to go out and be the example of it. And that's something that I strive to do every day, you know, and it's here's the thing, like on the beginning of my journey, you know, I came about this side of the journey. So, you know, I gave a little backstory about my childhood, you know, I was born and everything, and then went into the field of physical therapy. But for me to find this path and to truly, you know, get into what I call raw habilitation was because I had severe health challenges. Yeah. So I competed in a bodybuilding competition back in 1998, the Mr. Atlanta. I was a novice lightweight. And back then I wasn't vegan. I wasn't as knowledgeable, you know, about lifestyle. And so I was eating a typical bodybuilder's diet. I got really sick afterward to the point where I woke up one day and had to go to the bathroom and couldn't go. Like I really had to urinate and nothing came out. Nothing. And the urge to go was like insane, right? And so I was like, total panic. Like if that's not coming out, where is it going right now? And so long story short, ended up with a really severe swollen prostate.
Yikes.
And then led to a huge downward spiral of you know, other health issues, including just, you know, ended up with groin and back pain and chronic fatigue, and then had all these like bumps and polyps across the front of my bladder and a mass in my groin area, and it was pretty wild stuff, right? And so after going to a couple specialists that were supposed to be able to help me, all I heard was, "You're too young, don't worry about it." And I'm thinking, what the hell kind of answer is that? So when I went home, I just sat on my bed that day, and I remember the tears just rolling because I was so frustrated. And that's when I actually heard the voice. I had the download, and it was one of those, well, what difference does it make what this is if it's not going to make a difference how you treat it? And I had to ponder those words, and I was like, what does that mean? It said, it means if you do what you're guided to do, you will know health at a level you never knew possible. And but you just have to listen. And I'm like, okay, well, you got my attention, you know? So, and then it was the second part of it was, you promise to always give back. You will promise to always give this back, because if you don't, the lessons will get even harder. Are we clear? And, you know, again, call it angels, call it the divine, you know, being himself, Mr. God, you know, God taught directly, but it was like such a profound thing. And so that's the other reason, you know, I get out of bed in the morning. It's like, I don't want to find out what happens if I don't keep my promise.
Yeah, there we go. That's putting you on the path of loving service, right? And that's the beautiful thing in the world, right? The more you share, the more you get back, and it's like it's just a beautiful, beautiful continuing growth together with everyone, you know. And it's something that I've said many, many times. And another friend of mine who makes amazing music has a phrase that says, feeling this good was not meant to be done alone, right? It's like, when you feel this good and when you notice the shifts and you just feel that deeper connection to self and everyone, you want to share that. You want to help people out with that, right? And, you know, it's amazing because within the vegan movement, a lot of times there's hate and Jerry Springer-ish kind of behavior and like really pushing other people down. And I mean, it's prevalent in every single movement, you know, but to me, and I know you feel the same way, part of being vegan is being compassionate to your fellow man, right? Not just to the animals, but to yourself and to your fellow man, no matter what they choose, just to be the example and be supportive, because you know, you never know what someone's going through. You never know what they've come from, and compassion is going to go a lot longer to really help and connect with someone than just like hammering at them and getting all pissed off at them or telling them they're this or that, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's amazing. I always said that I think PETA should change their slogan of "People for the Ethical Treatment of All," because that's just how I feel. And to just say, "Oh, I just do it for the animals." Okay, well, humans in a sense are animals too. It's like, so you have to treat all creatures with compassion and an open heart. And just remember, before you became potentially conscious or awakened, maybe you were in a place where you see somebody else is now. And so just try to have compassion and grace. And, it doesn't mean that you don't speak up. It doesn't mean that you don't, in a sense, fight for what you believe in. But your tools, the spiritual warrior, the tools of the spiritual warrior are inside the heart, right? They're compassion and forgiveness and caring and love. Those are the tools of the spiritual warrior. It's not about trying to, spew a belief system onto somebody or to say things in such a negative way. And I understand there's various different ways to teach out there. Some people might wake people up by yelling at them or making them watch, graphic videos or whatever. That's
it all has its place, right? It all has its place, right? But it's just what do you want to create, right? What do you want to create? Where do you want to come from? What do you want to feel? What do you want to pass on? What energy do you want to convey, right? And I think that it's just a huge opportunity to become more conscious in the energy we're holding, the energy we're passing on. Because a lot of people do come into the movement because they're angry, and it gives them something great to be angry at, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But when we become more conscious of that, it shows us, okay, is that something we want to hold on to and be motivated from? Or do we want to, instead of reacting, come into conscious action from a more heart-centered, loving place and be more inclusive and more supportive,
Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing about anger is this, like, it's interesting because we're in the element of spring. So I studied a lot of Qigong and Eastern medicine as well. And we're in the element of spring, and the element is actually wood. And so there's the 5-element theory, and fire, earth, metal, water, wood in the Eastern medicine. And so this era of spring is the element of wood, and the liver and gallbladder are the paired organs that go with that element. And interesting enough, liver is a lot about anger.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's the thing about anger, though, it's an upward rising energy. When you think about wood sprouts from the ground like a tree, right? Finds its potential by sprouting up. So anger is not always a bad thing.
No.
That's what lights a fire under our butt, right? And gets it done. Like, just sometimes you got to push a little bit, and that's a powerful force. So if people learn to embrace anger and actually use it as a creative force, because the liver also is about being like the corporal or the general. It's like calling the shots in your life. And then the gallbladder is the chief of staff that carries out the orders. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting the way that they kind of classify some things in the East. It's fascinating. But so liver's a general, making the game plan for your life, right? And so that liver energy you want. Yeah. It's good to get pissed off sometimes. Yeah. Like, no, I'm going to do better. I'm going to rise higher. Yeah. I'm going to take it up a notch. My friends are doing it. No excuses. Like they're getting it done. And so it can fuel us in a really good way. And so it's not about not being angry. I think people have this misconception about spirituality. You're just like always Zen, sitting on the side of a rock, like chanting Om, and that's not always. The spirituality is just truly, to be a spiritual person, in my opinion, is to take full ownership for what you create in your life from moment to moment. That's a spiritual person.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the dress or, you know, the sounds they can make with their throat or their breath work and all that. Because here's the reality of that.
Yeah.
All of those practices, what they're meant to do, in my opinion, what those practices are meant to do are to get you to that very place I just said, to the place where you are fully awake, where you're willing to own and take full ownership of what you co-create moment to moment in your life.
Conscious
it's
creator,
nothing wrong with
right?
Spiritual practice.
Not just knee-jerk reaction, conscious creator. Observing.
Conscious creator.
Feeling.
You got it.
Feeling it all. Loving
Absolutely.
it all. Letting it be. And then consciously creating.
Absolutely. And so that's why it's important to have a spiritual practice. So just so we're clear, you know, anyone tuning in, I'm not knocking spiritual practices. No. I have more than one, and I engage in them every day. Yeah. And the thing about spiritual practices, what they do is they keep you whole, they keep you centered, they keep you structured, they keep you focused. That's the point, because let's face it, if you don't have one, you're going to be scattered, you're going to be perverted. You are, like, by perversion I mean your mind just starts to, like, and you have strange thoughts, or you go in different places, but that's not in your greatest good. And you know that, because when you're living on purpose with focus, you know you show up in the world better. That's why it's so important to have the spiritual practice. Even if it's only 5 minutes of yoga, or 5-minute breath work, or you sit and chant, or you journal, or you reflect, or whatever it is you're going to do. Everyone's spiritual practice can be different, but the point of having one is to keep you whole, to keep you, that'll help you be victorious as well.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, to me, one of the big things about spiritual practice is being, like, in the moment awareness. No matter what you're doing, just like having reverence and respect and, like, your focus, your concentration in the moment right now. You know, like, whether it's a conversation or whether you're eating an amazing gift from Mother Nature, or myself skateboarding or yoga or anything like that. I consider all those spiritual practices, right? Because when you're really in touch with it, you're in touch with source, you're just flowing through it and you feel it. There's a different quality than if you're just distracted or in your head about things, or, just half-mindedly doing stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, being fully present is an important thing, as we both know, because the minute you're not, life will remind you real quick. And I remember the time we were in Costa Rica a few years ago, and I happened to, think that a downspout on the side of this place that we were staying was a solid pipe, and it wasn't. So when I reached out to put my hand against it, I took a fall a good 9 feet with no shoes, right? Remember that?
Oh yeah, and you were lucky, man. There was like sticks sticking up and rocks. Like you could have been impaled or knocked out, or it was pretty lucky.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, it was a great lesson in a lot of things. I mean, it's a great lesson in truly being present and like just to see what a gift that is. In the minute that you're not, how quickly life can just shift your life. I mean, I remember having so many things just literally go through my head as I was falling. I mean, you talk about one of those, like, your life flashes. It did. Mm-hmm. And I also, too, I just felt like spirit jumped out of my body and said, "No, you're on your own, pal." Like, it was the strangest thing, man. It was just like I left my body and then I hit. I remember hearing my head crack this rock, seeing like rubble fly everywhere, and then laying there, and literally it was like spirit came running back over to me, like leaned over me and was like, get up, you're fine. Yeah. And I'm like, no, there's no way I can be fine. I just fell like 9 feet. Literally I got up and I was like, wow, I actually am okay. Yeah. And then I remember walking into the kitchen, and you looked at me, you're like, dude, you all right? I'm like,
you're all right.
No. I'm like, you're bleeding pretty bad out of your foot. I'm like, yeah, I just fell off the deck there outside. And you're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go lay down and work on myself and get this all figured out. So if anyone asks, just tell them I'll be out. I'll be out in a little bit. But yeah, that was quite an experience. But what a lesson in being present. And I got to tell you, it's just it really was. I mean, up until that point in my life, I really was, and I also just obviously needed a reminder, though. Yeah. About that. And I know something else too. It's like you can relate to this with the whole, like, sometimes you get that thought rocket that goes out there, and it's like, it's too late. You send it. And before I had come down there that year, I was like, gosh, I haven't had a significant injury in a while. Like, I wonder how fast I would recover from one, right? Yeah. And then I caught myself And I was like, no. I believe I'll recover just fine. But the thought rocket already went. And I know for yourself too, you and I talked about that with your motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
You're going, I just want to break. If I had a break, I would just watch every episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then
what did the universe do?
Boom! There's your motorcycle, bud.
Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse, right? The more aware you are, the more you're into kind of conscious action and aware of synchronicities and all that stuff. You become even more kind of focused and powerful in bringing things into your life and being more of a conscious and unconscious creator. And the more you notice that when you're consciously or unconsciously creating, and the more you can actually own it, right? Take ownership of it, of everything that you're creating, everything that's going on in your life. And the more you can see it as positives, right? Because it's like, even when those things happen, I wasn't bummed because I'm like, I called this into my life on some level, right? And I'm going to use this as a huge opportunity. Okay, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to watch those Star Trek episodes. I'm going to relax. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to actually rebuild myself up. And I did. I went into intense rehab, and I know I called you a whole bunch of times too for some advice on things to rework my musculature because I was a little off balance from 2 decades of skateboarding, 2+ decades of skateboarding. And I've actually come back better and feel better, and I feel blessed by the situation. And that's, I think, kind of one of the differences too of being, holding yourself accountable, actually taking that to that next level is you see everything as an opportunity, right? And that's something that's victorious people that champions do, right? They see everything as an opportunity, not something that's beating them down, but something that's giving them the opportunity to build themselves up and build others up.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. It's a stairway to heaven and a highway to hell, right? Yeah. So climbing those steps is not easy, right? But going down, it's a highway to hell. Yeah. I mean, we can all go down fast. Yeah. I mean, it's quick ride down to nowhere quickly. And so to climb those steps is an amazing journey. And I truly I marvel at the fact of what you and Camilla went through and came back from it, because I mean, most people would have quit. And for me personally, I understand not exactly what you go through, but I've rehabbed people for over 2 decades. Yeah. So I've rehabbed people like you too. People are coming to me, hey, what happened? I got on a motorcycle, people in wheelchairs, people with brain injuries. And I know how long that road can. You guys did amazing, because I mean, my average patient never would have recovered as fast as you two did. I mean, even if you're still having any residuals, it's still you got and yeah, man. And the last time I saw you, you looked amazing. I was like, holy crap! You just you were just filled up, and I was like, you don't look like someone that ever had a major trauma happen, because a lot of times when those happen, those are the things that sideline people, and it's always that this bum knee from this old motorcycle accident, but you just you rose above it, which is honorable and commendable, man. I mean, I'm impressed. My parents said the same thing. They're like, oh my God, I cannot believe he's doing this well. At this point, it's incredible, what he's gone through, and him and his girl, Camilla. And I said, I know.
It's Mother Nature, brother. It's Mother Nature and a natural lifestyle. I feel really blessed to have learned from a long time and know people like you that only strengthen my conviction and my breadth of knowledge, right? And my experience has been very profound, and that's why I want to share, and that's why I want to help people so much, because I know it's possible, and I know I could even raise to higher heights. There's always ways we can brush up our game and get it even tighter. And I'm always about, flowing through it and doing what feels the best in the moment, and letting stress and that comfort zone kind of edge be the guide. When it starts to get too stressful or it's too much, it's feeling I should rather than what I enjoy and what I'm doing. Then I just find my little happy middle ground. It's always in a direction. But, I have been through a lot. I fractured my back. I've broken multiple bones. I was in that accident, and I've had tons of blood tests, and I've had rehab specialists and my surgery doctors, and every single time since going raw, I've broken some bones the same. I've broken this wrist 4 times now, and 2 of them were before raw and 2 were after. And I've actually been able to see that I heal generally in about half the time I used to, and within a half to 2/3 of the time of what the average person does. So I have zero doubt about the benefits of healing and of, just overall wellness and energy and positivity and connection to self and spirit with a well-planned, low-fat, raw food lifestyle. And I know, together with you and so many other people in this bundle, we're all champions of that, or at the very least, we're all people who really believe in it and have been doing it for either, years or decades, and just love sharing this stuff out because we know what an impact it has. And that's one of the beautiful things about being a victorious vegan. One, it is about you, right? It's about you raising to your heights for your own potential, for your own happiness, your own connection, your own spiritual journey, but also then being that bright light for everyone else, because it's the most impactful thing you could ever do. Like, it helps you, it helps the animals, it helps the planet, it helps everyone. It's just so beautiful. And that's why I absolutely love the whole concept of the victorious vegan and you and the whole kind of energy that we're bringing in with this whole bundle and everyone together.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's leveling up, man, and leveling up isn't always easy. And it's so fun to watch people in the movement that, especially that we've known for a while and continue to push and motivate each other just by doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Like you could watch, it's like, God, Chris has got another book coming out. Alyssa just did this, Ted's onto a new project. It's like Grant's doing this now. He's running in the mountains again. It's like, God bless.
Yeah.
So it's fun, right? Because it's like, it's just this cooperative effort of trying to inspire each other just by example. Like just keep showing up in life, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to show up and just kind of, be there and not do much, but to really show up bright, and that's the one thing that raw and living foods can help people do. It's like you're going to eat the light so that you show up bright, right? It's
100%.
It's literally we are what we eat, and those foods are basically, again, they're crystallized light. That's what they are, and so are we. And so that's why they're so resonant with our frequencies. And the signatures foods carry have special gifts and divine knowledge for us, and we take this on. And the more you do this, the more you're actually in tune with the subtle vibrations of food. And even as like when I shop, and I think the same for you, the food picks you. You don't pick it. Like the food's like, oh my God, that thing's calling to me over there, right? And your eyes will just start to like draw to it. Like I was in a store the other day to get some food, and all of a sudden I just like my eyes got drawn to these oranges, and I was like, wow, that's wild. I wonder what is about this. So I walk over and I flip over the bag, and it says heirloom. I'm like, wow, I've never had an heirloom orange, and these were navel oranges, and they were heirloom. And I'm like, they gotta be good, right? And they're just calling to me. So I get a bag just in case they weren't, and I get home and I cut them open, and they were phenomenal. So the next day I go back and get 20 more pounds.
Yeah, that's the way, man.
Why they still have them.
I'm the exact same way. Like, actually, I went to the store today, and like, I didn't get anything. I got a couple little things for the food demo I'm doing tonight on Chef AJ's live, in a couple hours here. But other than that, like for just my regular food, I didn't get anything because it wasn't calling to me, and like I have that faith too that when I find the right stuff, it's going to call to me, and I buy bulk, just like you kind of mentioned, and like I'll go to a fruit market or a market in general and just kind of go through, and I might have an idea of some things, and I might just get something just to get something. But a lot of the time, I'm getting what my body is just ringing with, and it's like singing to me. It's beautiful, and that's kind of like your voice. That's how I had my story coming into health too. Is just at the right times, the specific times, things were just singing to me, and it was just so clear that this is the path, this is the way forward. Trusting that intuitive energy and that flow, and it brings you so much, right? It's like coming into trust with intuition and your own body signals, because it's the most powerful guiding light that there is.
Absolutely. And that's part of the victorious journey as well. Like it just, as you continue to rise higher and you wake up even more, the victories get sweeter, no pun intended. They do, right? Because it's even the little victories. And that's the thing, I think it's very clear for people to understand this. Being a victorious vegan is like, oh, I'm there, I've achieved it. Because it's like when people say, what's the way to health? What's the way to health? Health is the way. There is no way. It is the way. It is the path. And so the victories do not have to be huge. It's not like, well, gosh, one day maybe I'll write a song, or I'll create a book, or it's like, that's a great aspiration and a goal, or to be like the best vegan blogger on whatever people's aspirations are. But the little victories, right? The acts of self-love, the stronger ties with your family and friends, the learning to develop your own systems to where you almost run on autopilot. I mean, those are sweet victories too. It's those things are just as important as any kind of like your face on a cover of a book, or a title, or hey, I made a bunch of money off this product or this service, or that's great. I mean, and those are great victories. But but it's important for people to just embrace the little victories too, because
Yeah.
that's huge. Because every day, even if you just get one victory, like even if just one thing went well, right? And I had like I said yesterday some text stuff with a file upload, but like when it was said and done, because you do that, it actually came out a lot better. I actually caught something on the site that I was uploading it to, and it came out even better than what it was. And so that's the whole thing when you stay in a mindset of like, okay, this is the opportunity, like you said earlier. It's not a oh God, I can't believe that happened. It's like, all right, there's got to be a reason this happened, so let's go. Come on, man, you're gonna rise up and get this thing uploaded and get to bed at a decent hour. Or you're gonna bitch and moan about it, So because I went through the path I did, it came out, even better. It's pretty sweet, and even those little victories. So there is. I'm going to bed now on a high note.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh man, I didn't get that done. I was like, sweet, this is even better than I thought.
Yeah.
My head hit the pillow, and I knew we were going to talk today too. I was like, man, I can't wait to catch up with my brother CK. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So, and again, even this, like getting online, I finally got the damn Wi-Fi. So that's a victory.
It is absolutely, man. It's what you put your focus on, right? So many people, and I think it's kind of natural in some ways because of our past survival instincts and what we need to do to survive. Oftentimes we focus on those things that are heavier, kind of more intensive, more fight or flight kind of things, right? More stressful things. But if we can shift that, I mean, we're not really in that kind of, fight or flight death kind of situation that often anymore, but we make it seem like everything is. And if instead we can focus on those little victories and let the other things just be stepping stones to higher heights, we're going to feel 1,000 times better, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely the key. And so it's important that you also just surround yourself by the people that want to be victorious.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, connect here on the lives and get the e-bundle and get the ultimate, vegan bundle and see like what a bunch of other people are doing and how they're showing up being victorious in their life and just associate with that. Right. Because it's easy to get trapped in social media and just like waste time or next thing you know, an hour's gone by and you're just looking at things that don't matter. I mean, obviously, every now and then you need a break, right? And so you might watch something that brings you fun. I would send you videos. I'm like, check this guy out. It'd be like somebody doing some cool thing on a skateboard or somebody breakdancing. But again, those things are like something that I thought would bring a smile to your face or like inspire you, right? As opposed to be like, the hell is he sending me this for? Like, come on, Sammy, get back to work. So, yeah. You take your breaks, but for sure, part of being victorious is definitely being in that mindset of we, not me, right? Yeah. It's that it's funny because people say there's no I in team, and I'm like, no, but there's one in win. Yeah, and that's how you become victorious. You win. You win every day, right? And it's not about competing with other people; it's about competing with yourself. And so you want to show up. You want to win, and get those victories every day. Yeah. And that's it's amazing when you do, because then you want more of it. Oh yeah. It is. It's like it's a healthy addiction. Yeah. You're like, it's not that you're never satisfied. It's that you look at like, I created this and this is great. I'm going to share this with the world. And now, and it's important to take the time to be like, look at this. Look what I created. This is awesome. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, what's next for me too? Because we don't want to stay stagnant. Everything in nature seems to aspire to be its greatest thing, except humans. It's like everything tries to grow and like express itself, and humans are capable. Mm-hmm. It just seems to be we seem to be the one species that kind of pulls back on our ability to fully express what we're capable of, and people have to understand nature struggles sometimes to express itself too, and that's why it's like when you're going through a struggle or you're feeling something in your life, don't run away from that. Yeah, just know there's growth from that. Yeah. That is how you express yourself. Like there are. I mean, I have banana trees blooming in my yard again right now, and the leaves. It's funny. They were starting to come through, but I left them over the winter, so there's this like wrapping around them of the old brown paper part, and it looks like they're struggling to get out. And I was almost ready to cut the top off to let the leaf out, and I was about to do it. And nature's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, I got this. Like, I'm trying to help you. Yeah, and the trees are like, "Yeah, I want that there." Yeah. And so I looked at it, and and they're doing great because again, they're having to push. It's a stimulus to push against. Yeah. There's that old fable where the little boy sees the butterfly struggling to try to make it out of the cocoon. So he's like, "Oh, poor butterfly." So he walks over to the cocoon. and he opens the cocoon to let the butterfly out, but then the butterfly can't fly because its wings were never strengthened against the walls of the cocoon to try to get out. Now, for all you heartfelt vegans, don't worry. The butterfly got rehab and he could fly. So we're good. We're good. But boy was pained for what he did. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a struggle. Nature has to struggle sometimes, and we're part of nature. And the struggle is part of being victorious. Like, you're going to struggle, but it's
embracing it.
You grow.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally through embracing it. Like taking shortcuts and skipping things that generally leads to more kind of back and forth and yo-yos and more hardship, makes things more difficult. And like you said, lessons learned multiple times, knocking harder and louder each time until you embrace, accept, and grow through them, right?
Absolutely, because nature, nature's two things. Nature's not prejudiced. That means the rules are the same for all of us. Doesn't matter what color, what creed, whatever you aspire to be or identify with. The rules are the same for all of us. The good news about that is if you follow the rules or guidelines, if you don't like rules, you'll get the results you're looking for. The other thing is nature's consistent with her consequences. So if you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. And if you don't like the results, but you're fighting and you're wondering why, that is a form of delusion. Okay, I'm just going to say it. And we all suffer from it to some level. That's why it's so important to be conscious, like you're saying, because the more conscious you are, you go, yeah, what the hell am I doing? Like, dude, you keep doing the same thing. You know, and my spirit, it's funny when spirit talks to you, because sometimes I get like, Sammy, what the hell are you doing? Like, and I laugh, and it's like,
I'm just choosing this again.
It doesn't work, buddy. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I want to choose this again. All right, go for it.
Yeah, there's a lesson in it. And that's it. Like, sometimes that voice, you know, and I refer to as spirit. People refer to it as higher self or God, but it's not always the most, like, I don't say kind or loving voice, but sometimes the voice is like, whoosh. You need a God slap. You know, you need to have a fireman under your butt, because you keep screwing it up because you're not listening, because you're not being aware. And so, and that's just part of it.
That's a beautiful thing, though, right? Like, I think it's good to pay attention and, you know, recognize the fact that if you're conscious enough to hear that and to contemplate it, that's a major stepping stone. That's a major leap in consciousness from just being totally unaware and just doing random stuff and not really owning the consequences of what you're doing, not being conscious at all. That is a step in consciousness up, right? And it's like going to take doing that numerous times to get to the point where you go, yeah, okay, I've been here again. I recognize this place. Am I going to do that again? Okay, maybe I am. Maybe I'm not, right? But I think that's a huge step right there towards victorious, more compassionate, more conscious living.
Absolutely. Awareness precedes change, you know, for sure. Awareness precedes change. It's like, without the awareness, you're not going to change. And it's like, there's a great old expression: if nothing changes, then nothing changes. So you got to change the blueprint if you want to change the printout. You know. And so it's vitally important. And that's the one thing, you know, I became really passionate about as well, is creating a whole blueprint. And not only a blueprint, but a quick fix blueprint for better health. And because it's like, what better way to change the blueprint than change the very thing, again, the chain driving the wheel, as we talked about before. You change that chain, it's going to drive the wheel, your life's going to be better.
1000%, man.
You know, so it's really amazing.
I was thinking,
this is awesome.
The whole like holistic raw food kind of lifestyle is kind of like the ability to have that gear changer, so you can like switch the gears and have it all greased up and oiled up, so you can like smoothly in different situations be able to move into the smaller or the bigger, dependent upon what's needed, and be able to gain the benefits of well-rounded, balanced life, right? It's like, it makes everything easier. Whether you're going up a hill or whether you're going down a hill, you can change the gear easier and the whole ride's way smoother, rather than in suffering and fighting against the hills. And, you know, it makes everything easier, everything better, everything an easier glide.
Absolutely. Yeah, and part of being victorious is to learn to be a resilient person. You know, and to be able to shift gears, like you said it beautifully, like the ability to be able to shift gears is being a resilient person. Right? You shift in high gear, you shift in low gear. You know, maybe put it neutral for a little while. But that is what true resilience is about. And it's a quality I think it's unfortunately missing in a large part of the population in the current world we live in. And I think that's part of the lesson on a global level that's happening right now. It's in everyone's face. Like, here it is. You're going to be resilient or not. Because if you don't step up and you don't level up now, it ain't going away anytime soon. Like, you're going to have to learn to rise above rise above all of this. And
1000%, man.
That's truly how you're going to do it.
Yeah, because things are going on, and a lot of people can get really down and doubtful, and lose faith in humanity or in anything, right? And what does that do? That depresses you and depresses your immune system, and leads you to being less victorious, less vibrant, less of a great example. And I think part of being victorious, part of being conscious, is having that faith, having that bigger vision, having that awareness of what what opportunities this is actually bringing us, right? And where are we focusing? And I don't know, I'm very confident. I know you're a pretty confident guy yourself too, with where we're going in general, right? And it's just holding each other up and reminding each other and living in such a way where we have the absolute best facilities to raise up to our potential in any given moment consciously. No matter what's thrown at us, we can be there if we're conscious and we're really in heart center.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one of the other ways to look at it is this, because people, if they want to look at doomsday scenarios, fine. I'll go there with people. I'm like, okay, let's go there for a second, right? And I do this all the time with people. Yeah. Like, let's go there for a second. All right. Everything goes to shit. It's doomsday. Okay, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Everyone's in the same boat, and it's all going to end. So stop worrying about it. Yeah. So it's like, whether it's the money supply or this, okay, guys, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. This is an even playing field, and it just is what it is. So you're going to live each day worrying about that, or are you going to live each day creating what you want to see the future to be, and come out on the other side of it, even better? Because I think the reality of it is those who make it are going to be the ones that learn how to rise above. Yeah. Those are the ones that will make it to the other side, if there is going to be another side. I mean, there is going to be another side. I just don't know how, quote, doomsday it's going to get. But the point is, if you're worried about that, stop worrying and start living. Start living in a way where you're living a victorious life, so that you make it, quote, to the other side. And it's just a beautiful place. Absolutely. Because it's like in the lyrics in the lyrics of Highway to Hell, it says, all my friends are gonna be there too. Yeah. Well, in the Highway to Health, all your friends are gonna be there too. Yeah. So learn to be victorious, learn to embrace health is that goal, that golden spoke, and that chain that's driving that wheel. And you'll see all your friends there too, trust me, because we all want to come out on the other side, blissed out, together with our hands raised, in the victorious vegan pose. Absolutely. It's just like, for sure, let's throw that up for the thumbnail, brother. Let's throw that up for the thumbnail.
Hopefully I can screen grab this. 110%, 110%. And like you're saying, brother, about anger or about, all of these things, like, they all have their place. They're all beautiful. But when we see them and we own them and we think we are them and we hold on to them, that's when they become destructive forces. But instead, if we see them, we honor them and see those as a instigator, or as a vehicle, or as a fire for more conscious change, for seeing that, okay, well, something is lacking in our life, or something we're not prepared for, or something we could shift focus on, shift our perspective on, then it becomes like that signal light on our car saying the engine is messed up. Instead of being like, oh shit, the engine's messed up, and like just not doing anything about it and going, oh my God, keep on looking at it. Eventually the engine just explodes. But if instead you just see it as a signal, you do something, and then that signal goes off, and you're in a more calm, balanced place where you can be of more service.
Absolutely. And the word symptom actually means signal. That's what the word means.
Beautiful.
So when people get symptoms, that's a signal your body's trying to talk to you. So, hopefully you wouldn't pull the warning light off in your dashboard. It's problem fixed.
Yeah, that's why we don't want to fix symptoms.
No problem with the engine. And, I think you were with me, actually, that year. We were going up to Woodstock, and I said that to my father. I said, hey, Dad, the warning light's on the truck. He goes, yeah, no, it's actually the fuse. Yeah. So I laughed, right? Because the one time it actually is the fuse. Like, who would pull the fuse out to fix the problem? But this one instance, he actually said, yeah, I'm going to have to pull the fuse out to fix the problem. I've had the truck checked twice. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually the fuse. There's a short in it. I was like, that's so funny, because I always talk about how you wouldn't just pull the fuse out to fix the problem. Well, in that instance, you actually...
In some cases, maybe it's beneficial.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you do. You gotta put the fuse out. Hey, man, it's been a blessing.
Yeah. You want to rock this out? You want to close this up? If anyone who's live with us, bless you, star. If anyone has any questions for Dr. Sam or I, let us know in the comments here. And otherwise, what do you feel, Sam, about maybe rocking your song out to close this out? We'll rock your song out.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at the very least play a bit of it, and I'll put the link to the song as well as the link to your bundle information stuff in the chat as well. Yeah, so I'm just checking here. Let's do it. Let's put this on. Is there anything else you want to bring to us here today, Dr. Sam?
No, other than, again, anyone in the live, just blessings for joining us today. And again, you can connect with me at drsampt.com. That's drsampt.com. And then Instagram, drsampt3, the number 3. I just always pay respect and honor to anybody willing to show up in life. And so for all you that joined us today, God bless you, and happy Easter, and thanks for showing up and wanting to take interest in being more victorious and to be a health raiser in the world, because God only knows we need more of them, for sure. Right? We need more health raisers in the world.
Absolutely.
That's what the world needs.
Thank you, brother. Always much love, man. We're going to rock this. We're going to rock this proper. I'm going to put all you mentioned in the notes in the Instagram TV there. So
cool.
Let's see. Let's see if I can turn this over.
Do you get it? Woo. Check it out.
Love it.
Here we go. Kicking it out, Razor style. Come on, let's sing. Because when vibrant health flows, it leads to an open heart. And then here's how our story goes.
Gonna be a health raiser is what I choose to do with my time. Got a sacred download from the divine. When we rise up, set ourselves free. This allows us to express TLC, tolerance, love, and think compassion. Yeah, that's what's really happening. Making the world a more harmonious place. No lies, cheating, separation of race. Spent too much time living the other way. Was just an empty void till I meditate and pray. That's when the vision became clear to me that my life is definitely meant to be. Just needed to elevate the level of my chi. So once I choose to align with this mission, it's when it became a clear vision.
Each person has their unique talents and gifts to share with the world. This is how we honor Mother Earth, the ultimate girl.
So let us all choose to stand tall. The end result, the betterment of all. More love is felt and prosperity gained. When you think about it, it's just really insane. We allowed ourselves to be separated and hesitating to be who we are. But the real awakening only take place when love leads the human race. And once it becomes activated, it will feel like we've evacuated all the bad programming out our heads, because now we're truly awake and no more walking around in a coma like the living dead. This vibration of love is the spiritual thread that ties us all together and get us all ahead. So it's important to raise our help, take charge, which is the true definition of living large.
Eventually, this will become irreversible knowledge. And that's when we'll all graduate from spiritual college.
If you're gonna rise up with me, set yourself free, then you must let go of your crazy demons, yeah. Maybe even go straight vegan, yeah. A move towards plant-based that delivers plenty pleasure and taste, just without the harmful killing waste. Because what you drink, how to eat, choose to breathe, and the words you speak, it really matters. So stay with me now, don't fall back to sleep. Seek pure illumination. We need to ignite this whole nation in a loving vibration. Rising higher, we're all becoming enlightened. No longer fighting to be who we are, universally nourished by divine love and light. There will no longer be a need to fight, making wars and hate disappear, and allowing everything to become more clear. So if you're all still wondering how, come on brothers and sisters, just sing it with me now.
brighter than the sun. So there's only one thing left to say. You're gonna rise up with me and be a Hellraiser today?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Namaste.
Love it, brother. Love it, brother. Definitely stepping up today and always with you, my friend. It's been an awesome, awesome time chatting and talking.
Be a victorious vegan with us. Dr. Sam PT.
Ooh, don't forget to check out my raw recipes playlist in the top left, the video just for you in the top right, subscribe for more videos in the bottom right, and get your 3 free ebooks in the bottom left. Grab your free raw recipe app, available on iPhone and Android with over 100 free raw recipes, common fruit and vegetable calorie breakdown, frickin' raw food combining chart, shopping cart function, and so much more.